See, we got a lot of channels and things going. It's like a little different navigating my way through the Discord here. We've got some shit locked up for security reasons with Thordinals upcoming. Yo, JT, what's happening, man? How you doing? Doing well, Captain, as always. Yo, what's up? Always joining us as well. Oh, okay, cool.
What's good? What's good?
All right, just let me know when you're good, because I do have something in the how can I do this? I can still screen share this on my screen. How do I do this? Right, I should be able to do this. All right, Fearless, what's happening? Fearless, I saw you posted a question in the Tuesday Trader Review. By the time I saw it, I couldn't see the actual call you were referring to, and it wasn't a call that was actually posted on that chart. So I did my best to answer your question. Hopefully it made sense. If not, we can always review here a little bit further and just try to get you more understanding on that.
It made sense. I appreciate you responding to that. I was just like wondering if I was looking at something incorrectly because I was like, man, if it's supposed to get to 24 and we're at 20, it seems
Why
like to
not
me
take the
that
ride up, right?
exactly, exactly.
And I think what we have with the Thor calls and the charts right now will maybe kind of answer that a little bit as well. We'll kind of give you a little more insight into your question as well as my answer. So for people who are like, what the fuck are you talking about? He was saying, okay, well, if we're down here at 20 and Thor's calling a short up at 24, why don't we have a long call saying, hey, we're going up to 24? You know, where's the long call? And my response was, well, one, I couldn't see that actual call, but one, either Thor doesn't have the data to think that to have enough accuracy in its call to make the call at what it thinks the bottom and your entry point should be. What also happens quite often is there'll be a Solana long call. I believe there was a Solana long call at like 19 daily. And I believe the last take profit was somewhere around 25. So once that daily call hits its first take profit, it's no longer shown on the list of calls for potential waiting or active, but it still has a TP2 and a TP3 that it could hit. So those two, the 24 range, I'm sure was near that probably TP2, TP3 range of that daily call that we had, which actually triggered quite a while ago. And I, like, I'm pretty sure there was a long call from 19 to somewhere around 25 or 26 that I actually, closed out and took profits before this last dip. So it had called it before this last dip and is still, reading this as the long call on the 19 entry, if that makes sense. But we'll be able to see that as well on Bitcoin. Fuck it. Let me just pull up that chart real quick. All right. You guys see my screen? Okay. So for instance, this Thor BTC daily short, right? It triggered here. Well, once we got to take profit one, it no longer showed this call as active, right? It's no longer on the list. It hit, it's now showing new calls. However, that doesn't mean that TP2 and TP3 are no longer in play. All it means is it hit take profit one and now it's showing the other call. So even though we made our daily all the way back here, July 13th, we hit take profit one here at the 24th of July, so 10, 11 days later. Thor didn't give a fuck that another 2 weeks from that, 3 weeks from that, that it came all the way back near entry. It doesn't matter. It's still looking at TP2 and TP3, but it's not showing active because it already hit take profit one. So you can see it hit take profit three on Friday, August the 18th. And this trade started on July 13th, so over a month. And the trade was actually posted on the 15th of May. So you're looking at months of time action, and it's easy to forget, oh, there was this call that hit and hit take profit. Well, where's Thor calling from here from relax, Britt? Where's Thor calling the short from here down to here, right? Or into these next take profits? Well, it was all the way back here. So it usually does have the call, but you're talking about such a large time frame that it can often be missed or forgotten. And that's why Sile is a fucking saint and a champ when it comes to patience and waiting for those things to play out. Like I'm too chaotic and it's hard for me to remember, oh yeah, I entered a short back here and I'm here with everything else with all the other trades that I'm potentially in. So it's up to your trade style. But what I do want to go over, I hope that answered your question even a little better now we had the chart to look at, Fearless. And appreciate you tapping in. Because if you guys ask questions on those reviews, then I know what to touch on next. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I'm gonna go. Can you guys did my screen change? Are you guys now seeing the indicator?
We're seeing the Bitcoin chart.
Okay. Let me give me one sec. Thank you. Otherwise, I would have been talking about this and we were fucking looking at it.
Sometimes I can tell your mouse is moving around. It doesn't match what you're like.
Fuck. Okay, so this is posted in the Trader Tuesday review, so you guys can click on it and look at it on there if you want, follow along in here, whatever the fuck you want to do. But you know, we've been having a few streams now, and we're getting a little bit deeper into trading and how to know when to make our moves, and you know, sometimes not always even using Thor calls, right? So I just wanted to go over what are indicators when people say, oh well, my indicator, or I have an indicator, this and that. What does that mean? So let's basically first look at the definition of an indicator. The definition of it is a sign that indicates the state or level of something. In our perspectives, our level or state is either price or where's things at on the RSI, etc. That's kind of our state or our level. Uptrend, downtrend, these are our levels. So a gauge or meter of specified levels. Well, that's exactly what I say the RSI is all the time, right? A FOMO meter, right? It's an indicator of, are we getting to overbought or are we getting to oversold? And is this an indication that price may be making a reversal? Or are we getting back? Are we rejecting off of, say, the neutral line? And is this an indication that we may continue downtrend, right? So again, to us, something that indicates potential price action. That's what we want to indicate. Where price go, right? That's all we want to know. What type of indicators do we have? The ones we've gone over so far, we've talked about several times. We've talked about our trend lines and how to set them and how to use them with support and resistance. Are we making higher highs and higher lows? And are we established in an uptrend and therefore we can connect our lows and have kind of our trend line of support? Or are we getting lower highs and lower lows, connect our highs and have that trend line of resistance in our downtrend? We've gone over that, and we will again tonight, so don't worry. Another indicator we've talked about, and I just touched on the RSI, the FOMO meter. Are we near neutral? Like we want to be above neutral. We want to be moving and above neutral. Yeah, we've got some activity going. That's what we want, right? But we don't want to be, we want the vehicle moving, but we don't want to be redlining the motherfucker to where the engine's going to blow up and it's going to be sitting on the roadside till it cools off and can start again, right? So think of it as a FOMO meter. Where are we FOMOing and blowing the top and redlining? Or, you know, if you're in a short or looking for price to drop down to an entry point, you want to see price action below that 50 meter, right? You kind of want to see it below neutral, winding down and getting toward the oversold, you know, the time to really start up again. Everything's cooled off. Now it's time to make the next run. We'll go over that again as well. And something I want to introduce tonight that we haven't really talked about on our streams are EMAs, estimated moving averages. How do we use them? Where is price action? Above it, below it? What are the moving averages showing? Are they fanned out in a bullish pattern or a bearish? Do they cross? Again, we'll touch on this just a little bit more as we get to some actual charts and I can show them to you. But again, what is an indicator? All we want to know is where price go, when price go up, when price go down. What shows us that? What indicates the direction, or what indicates us holding our trend or a reversal? You know, you can look at indicators of momentum, indicators of price, and blending these things is kind of what technical analysis can be about. Give me a second and I will pull up the next slide here. Okay. So when it comes to indicators, and it comes to establishing TA, and like I said, a lot of times my TA, I look at it as trend analysis, not just technical analysis, trend analysis. The trend is my friend until the end. I want to know what the trend is doing, and one is an indicator that it may be reversing. What's an indication that it's strong and still ripping? You know, so things to note before making an entry into a trade, right? you want to know what is the overall current trend. Are you in an uptrend? Are you in a downtrend? That's the very first thing you should be establishing. Are you in an uptrend or are you in a downtrend? Because that kind of lets you know, do you want to be going long or do you want to be going short, right? So then the next kind of thing to establish, well, where are you in the trend? Like, did the trend just start? Does it look like, well, maybe we've been in a downtrend, but it looks like we're starting an uptrend? Is it, oh no, we've been fucking moving and we've got strong support and we can draw a support line and every time we touch it, man, we're bouncing off of it. You know, where in this trend are we? What kind of level? Again, an indicator of what level of a specific kind. Where is the RSI? Where is the FOMO meter? We just talked about this, so I won't go to just repeat the shit out of it again. But are we above and moving? Are we below and slowing down? Are we overbought? Are we oversold? You know what I mean? Or are we just kind of sitting neutral? Next, the EMAs. Are candles above these estimated moving average lines? Which estimated moving average is above or below the other? And is price respecting them? You know, you don't really have a support and a resistance if price isn't using it as a support or a resistance. Then it's just an arbitrary fucking point, right? You get what I'm saying? It's only valid if price is respecting it.
Altcoins.
You got a question, bro?
Oh no, I was just saying like altcoins.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and you can find, you know, obviously you can establish trends that they will respect, but yeah, sometimes they just go fucking nuts. Yeah, for sure. So, last slide. Give me 1 second. I'll pull up my last slide on indicators here. This one, I think is pretty self-explanatory. And this is choosing your indicators. And what I've found to be the fucking best indicator that I've used in my years of staring at charts and trying to, and even writing pine scripts for my own indicators. So not only have I used other people's, not only have I watched a million fucking YouTube channels like all you probably have too, I've also designed some of my own indicators writing pine scripts for TradingView. So what's the best indicator I've found? Fucking Thor. Thor manual calls. It tells you when to enter. It tells you when to exit. Not only does it tell you when to get in, when to get out, but you can use the RM, the risk management. It's a button right there next to all the trades. You put in how much money you're willing to lose. If you're willing to lose $10, you put in 10, and it will tell you how much Solana to buy at what price, and it already tells you the take profit points, right? And that lets you know, okay, this is risk to reward management. It tells you your risk to reward, and you decide what your risk management for that trade is. What are you willing to lose on that trade? Thor gives it all to you, man. This is the best indicator I've found. Literally, it's saying buy here, sell here. That's even more of an indication of, hey, we're getting overbought, we're getting oversold. Buy here, sell here. It's spelled out quite nicely. So these are all in the DGen. I'm sorry, in the Trader Tuesday review. I almost called it DGen Trader Review. In the Tuesday Trader Review, all those definitions are there to be found. Give me a second here to take a drink. Nothing good, nothing good. Just some tea with honey, so hopefully I don't lose my voice. Last time I realized I went for 3 hours, and afterwards I'm like, fuck, I can barely
I thought
talk.
you might have some Jameson on you.
Nah, not tonight, not tonight. Very soon. Although Jameson's not my shit. I'm a vodka drinker personally. Yeah.
That shit
I
hits
like
you straight on.
my I drink vodka like water, man. When I get
That's
in it, I
scary.
get it. Not long ago, I made my girlfriend a drink, and I forgot. I was like, I did put the mixer in here, right? I did put tonic in it, and I took a sip, and I was like, yeah, yeah. And I gave it to her. She's like, that's just straight vodka. What the fuck? I was like, it is? Oh, I thought it had a mixer. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to get to charts. And man, I hope some of you really paid attention to where we left off last week and looked in the Tuesday trader review, because if we go back, let's see, you can see here on the bottom where we were at Tuesday, last Tuesday. We left off right down here, right? And I was
Can you
saying,
zoom in just a little bit, Mode?
say again?
Can you zoom in just a little bit?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we left off somewhere right in here. And we said, we know this has been resistance, right? And what we want to see is we want to see price break it, and we want to see price hold a higher low over this. What we wrote up in the Tuesday trader review, and we also talked about the FOMO meter down here getting into this way oversold territory, right? This is showing it's way oversold. We went back and looked, and historically, this indicates that we could be nearing a bottom. Just like these historically indicated, we could be nearing the tops, right? So you ride from top to bottom to top to bottom. And are we moving our way back up toward the top? Well, I'll zoom in a little more. You can see we are starting to show on immediate price action that we are getting toward that oversold. But the smoothed out moving average, this yellow line, let me actually do something here. I don't know if you guys can see the other RSI. So this yellow one is the immediate RSI, and this one, what color should I make it? More of, that looks like shit. We'll make it green. We'll make it a little bigger. Okay, so the orange line is immediate price action. Just like we were saying, if you're looking at the chart on a 5 to 15 minute, what's price doing? Bing, 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 up and down all the time. When you zoom back out to, say, a 4-hour chart, what's things do? The lines smooth out some. Sure, there's a lot of up and down all in here, but it smooths it out. And that's what this moving average RSI does. So this RSI is just kind of smoothing things out, not acting so irrational and volatile. And that's the one that usually when it catches up, you see it's near the top. When it catches up, you know, it's getting near bottom. We got a double bottom right there. But so it's just smooth thing out a little bit, not so volatile. So what I see right now is, I mean, the immediate price action looks like it needs to cool off. And is anybody surprised? Look at these candles, right? And we talked about this zone right here last week of how price was probably going to come refill in here because we had zero price action and it dropped through so fast. And it did. It came right back up to where we had, I'll just go to a 1 hour, see it a little more. Right here in the big drop, you can see where a little bit of price action took place here, a little bit of up and down. Where's that? Right here. You mean a spot that tried to be support or resistance became a support or resistance? Go figure. And how else did we know that this could be a top? Because we had this trend line established all the way back here on the 9th of August by connecting these tops. And then we got another one here. So we had this trend line drawn all the way back here before last week's stream ended. And we said if we want to break and retest by holding a higher low, and we've got our higher low. See, we're moving in an upward direction. But we knew that we had potential resistance here at this line as well. And look where we found the resistance. Now, where could we likely find support? Back here where we have some price action, right? But we also have a long call down here. And this is kind of still following the major overall resistance and downtrend. A little bit shorter term downtrend. We broke kind of the immediate, right? But we're still in range of these two downtrends. Is this uptrend right here? And where are we going to find support? Maybe we'll find support somewhere in here and we can adjust our support line. But Thor's got a call down here. And how much we hit resistance, good on you if you took a trade or took your profits in this area. Because we said we wanted to break, retest, make a higher low, and now what do we have? We've got a higher high. What do we want to hold? A higher low, and then who knows, maybe higher highs. But Thor is saying we could drop down into a lower low. And what it's saying is, okay, let me rephrase that. Thor is not saying that we could be going, that we are looking at going into a lower low. What Thor is saying is if we drop and we go to a lower low, this is where you could look at a temporary bottom and a retest or the bottom altogether. But it's not saying, hey, price is going from here down. It's just saying we have the mathematical data to say if price drops here, we think it's going to retest here. And where is this retest zone? Kind of right through the middle of all this price action, kind of at support, at support, at support, at resistance, at resistance, at resistance, at resistance, at resistance. See that? All that becomes support and resistance. Look how many times we've got it as a support. We wicked out of it. Support, we wicked out of it. Support, we bounced right off. We broke. We tried to retest. It became resistance. It became resistance. We broke. We retest. It became support. We broke. It became resistance, resistance, resistance. So obviously, that's where Thor is seeing, hey, if we drop down in this range, we're going to test this range again. It's not saying, hey, we are going to here. It's just saying, if we do, this is your play. Any questions on the Bitcoin before we touch on Solana? And I can't wait to touch on Solana because it was a good one. Going once, going twice. Glad to see you guys coming back each week, for real. It lets me know that what I'm doing, you guys are finding valuable, and that I'm not just being redundant and saying the same shit just over and over too much. That you
No,
guys
not
are
at all,
actually
dude.
learning, yes, each week. So I appreciate it.
Do people pay fucking
Yeah,
money to get this shit?
for
Like,
Hey man, you bought a frog. You're supporting us. You're supporting us. This is
yo,
what we do.
yeah, and this
So
is more utility than fucking 90% of what NFTs give you. Is just this meeting alone.
facts,
hell yeah,
Many
man.
of them.
facts. Man, look at that. That's just fucking talk about a green dildo.
That's a Gandal right there,
I
dude.
mean,
God.
let's just measure this. This is this 1 4-hour candle.
But
What did
look at
it?
your line you drew. Look at like where it's like
Well,
like
and how
almost
did we
there. That's
establish this? How did we establish that this is probably going to be a resistance? Right? We drew that all the way back here. We connected this top, and it also hit this top. So it said, okay, now it's pretty strong in play. Right? We've got 3 major rejections. This is a pretty strong line. Keep it going. Right? And the same is where look at our zone of where we had price activity when we did drop. It tried to hold support here. How do we know it was at least going to try to hold support here? Look at the overall support line that we had that was established. Fucking holy shit. Wow, this was established like all the way back in early March. Like, so in early March, we could have known that there, if we got to this point, we'd see a little bit of price action at that point. As crazy as that's it. But what are we looking at now? Let's just recap what we're looking at now for Bitcoin. What we're looking at right now for Bitcoin is we have broken this downtrend. As of now, we have found support with the higher lows. We have made a higher high. We are looking to make a higher low. I'm sure it's going to come back to this zone at least where we have a lot of price action. You know, we have support, resistance, resistance, resistance. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see some price action in this range for sure. And why would I say that? Because look what price did here. It kind of rejected. It stayed. This is the median, right? But then it was resistance, resistance. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that becomes somewhat of a support, and whether we then go back up. Do we work a wedge pattern? We've seen wedge patterns before. We may break out. We don't know. But what we can say is we think at least a little price action would go there. We could very well even see it drop down, drop right through it, and now it become resistance again, right? And head down toward our 4-hour long. We could absolutely see this. You know, maybe something kind of like this. And then maybe we'll see our break and our retest once we've established higher, higher high, higher low. Maybe then we're looking to break and go into an uptrend. But what we know right now, and that's all we have, what do we know right now? What are our indicators? Our indicators are resistance. Our indicators are we look like we're entering a red zone. Our indicators are our only Thor call is down low. Right now, we may move and in an hour, we may have a long or we may have another short. You know, wouldn't surprise me at all if Thor posts another. Actually, let me even go look. We may. Now that we've established a high, okay, doesn't look like it. But we may see, you know, a short here that would be the lower high and signaling maybe we're bringing price back down here to cool off and retest these zones. But what we know is we hit resistance. We're looking a little hot, but we are in an uptrend here. We did break our downtrend, right? We are still, even if we come down, are we still in the RSI level of bullish momentum? Let me get rid of these. They're just so big now. I needed them for the write-up, but now we don't need them. So if we do come down, we could even do this. Find support on it, lose it. And guess what? This is still an uptrend, right? Or are you looking more short-term? Here's your downtrend, right? What's your time frame? What are you looking at? What I see right now is I think Thor is probably going to retest in these zones, cool off a little bit. This is a strong resistance. That was just fucking crazy. Even our smoothed out one is getting into the oversold. When's the last time? Let's do this. When's the last time we saw? Wow, that's only at 70. I should adjust these lines. I like that to be more around the 80 for my personal indicator. But when's the last time we saw the smoothed out break all the way? We gotta go all the way back to middle of July, and let's see what price did. There we go. Last time we touched all the way up top, resistance, and look how much we came back to fill price then. So history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. I think we're going to at least come back and fill this zone a little bit. Advice, do your own research, but we look a little overheated, and we've got Thor calls down low. That's where we're at on Bitcoin. Solana. We left off Solana. We left off Solana right here. Right here. And we said the same thing. What do we want to see? We want to see us break this downtrend. We want to retest and find support and make a higher low. And bam, did it. I mean, one, after we broke, it made a 5% move. Then from the retest down here, holding the higher low. But then from the wait a minute. Things are going slow because I'm on stream again, I think. Catch up. We had almost a 10% move right there from the retest. We buy, I mean, look at that. We got the break and we got the retest making the higher low. I want to throw a fib on it just to see if it hit my golden zone. See how close it is to my golden line. Well, you can see it's pretty much right on my golden line of where I like to enter. And holy fuck. This is why Thor Fox, okay? Look, I just laid these fib, and this is a fib chart, right? You guys have heard of Fibonacci's, even if you don't know how to use it, right?
Yeah, can you explain real quick the Fibonacci?
So a Fibonacci is basically, Fibonacci's are in all things. It's basically a mathematical variance. And what it's saying is if we retrace this much, we could look to have new levels at this point or that point and moving in price action. So what I did is I basically took my fib from here at the low up to the point of retrace, right? To give me a predicted area of where I may find support as a higher low in retrace. Now, what I like to do, again, this is some of my personal strategy here, what I like to do. When I have a downtrend and I break it, this is when I can set this fib because I have this point and I have this point, right? I have this point and I have this point. So I've broken my downtrend. Where do I want to find my retest? I set it here. I set it here. I'll put my buy on the gold and I put my stop loss below last low. My first take profit is here and my second take profit is here. That's what just kind of what I've done personally for what I've developed in trading. This is why Thor Fox. Thor is calling again for us. There's a 15-minute long call. Let me check that, make sure it's still there before I say this. Okay. Thor is still making a 15-minute long call here, right on the my golden line. And it's showing take profit as right here at what could be resistance. Why? Because Thor doesn't know if it's going to be resistance or if we're going to break through. But it's saying if we come back to here, we're going to at least test this resistance, right? But this is why Thor Fox, because in my mind, what I want to see, like I said, I want to see price. I hate this color because I have too much of it. Let me change it. Be easier to see and follow. Let's try it. No, that don't work for me. We're going to go fucking mega. Bam! All right. So what do I like to see? And I've shown you in this chart before, and we can look at it again. We want to see our low. We want to see our high. We want to see a higher low. Now we want to see a higher high. Now we want to see a higher low. Now we want to see a higher high. Now we want to see a higher low. Now we want to see a higher high. You guys, when have you see that pattern? How many times have we looked at that pattern right here? See this pattern? We have the bottom. We have our W. We've made a higher low. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Bam. Let's go back and remember this pattern, right? And look at where resistance becomes support. Resistance becomes support. Resistance becomes support, right? Let's go back to that chart. What do we have? Is it super pretty as a W? I mean, I guess I could, make it a little prettier if I brought it out here. Sorry, guys. Things are lagging and things on my screen are moving a little slow. But there's that exact pattern, right? There's that exact pattern I just showed you of establishing a low, break trend, establish a higher low. Now we have a higher high compared to our high here. Higher high, higher low. Higher high, higher low. Higher high. And what is this? Look at where these are going. We have a Thor call for a short. If it comes down to here to take profit, we're still making the higher low. We still have our line of price action here, right? We still have our support line. What are we saying? If we find support, Thor is saying if we make it up to here, look for us to retest. If we make it up to here, look for us to retest. So, like you were saying, Fearless, well, why don't we have a call maybe from down here in the 2021 range up to the 26 range or up to the 24 range? Because Thor isn't saying price is going to go here. What Thor is saying is if price does, because price could very well just hit right here and go shit the bed. See you later. We're going to test new lows. We're going back to $15. We could very well do that. That everything is always in play. This could happen, especially like I told you. I see this huge zone here. We've got this huge zone that at some point I think we're going to see. But regardless of that, my point is Thor isn't saying we're going to $24.64. What Thor is saying is if we go to $24.64, look for us to retest back down here at 22.80. Look for us to retest and find possible support on what was before resistance, right? And you look, and this is our pattern. This is the pattern we want to see. So what do I have as far as indicators that price could follow this? Right. And you see, look where that I told you this is usually my final take profit point right here. Man, the fact that it hits on there so pretty, the fact that this 4-hour short is right in the middle of that block and right in the middle of this big zone where I'm sure price is going to retest and make a little bit of motion in, right? My indicators right now are we're getting a little heated in the moment, but as far as the smooth line, we've come from bottom. We're up here at neutral. We want to see if we can break that and find support on neutral. We've broken the immediate downtrend. I want to see if we can break this downtrend, find either drop here back into our 15-minute long call and see if we break support, or see if we break now and go into this 15-minute short and then find support, right? But what I'm seeing for Solana is right now we have made a higher low, we have made a higher high. Even if price stops right now, it technically is a higher high. And I'm seeing that our RSI has come from down low and is working its way up, and we can even draw a semi-support line on it, right? Let's just imagine that as a support line for our RSI. So are we going to go ahead, please?
That's looking real bullish.
I mean, in the immediate moment, I wouldn't be going long because I'm seeing wicks. I'm seeing wicks up top, and I'm seeing this getting a little overheated, and I'm seeing we're just now testing the neutral. But what and we are getting close to a 15-minute short. But what I am seeing is if we make a higher low, I am fucking entering. If we make a higher low at this 15-minute long, I'm entering. If we make a higher low, fuck it, this take profit zone of it. If we don't even get down to this, if we make a higher low at its take profit even, that's a higher low in this uptrend, and I'm looking to enter and ride it at least up to here. So I don't want to enter now because let's go look. Let's go back and look at this again, and you'll see what I'm saying. Yes, things are looking bullish. Things are looking. Fuck, stop grabbing shit. Oh my god. Done well move for me. There we go. Okay, so things are looking bullish, yes, but you don't want to buy right here, right? You don't want to buy right here hoping we're going to continue up here. You want to buy where? On support, right? So let's go back to that chart again. In my mind, we are here. So we are at that higher high or nearing that higher high. This isn't where you want to be buying. This is where you want to be preparing to either enter this 15-minute short, or if it doesn't make it there, be preparing to find some type of indicator that we are holding a higher low. Are we now holding on this? Are we now holding on our support line? You know, that's what I want to see. So my next entry to look, if I want to take what Fearless was saying, and well, why not go long into all the short calls? Well, we have indicators that that might be a good idea. That could be a profitable play. But we have indicators that right now is not the time. Resistance, 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 long resistance line, 15-minute short, close, resistance, resistance. So we have a lot of resistance right now, even though we're in bullish activity. And you see, that's where Thor makes its predictions and where it is most profitable. Is it identifies these levels and says, if we hit this, we are going to retest this. If we hit this, we are going to retest this. So what could be my potential play? Enter on the higher low, wherever it may be. Let me get rid of this, clean up some shit just a little bit.
Yeah,
But
that
you
actually
can see
cleared up.
how. Say again.
That I was saying that actually like clears up
Yeah, I'll
like
get rid
my
of this too because we won't
perception.
need this yet. But so what I'm looking at for a play right now is to take this short, especially if we just break right through this. If price just moves right through here and into this short, that's looking bullish. If we find resistance here and we come back down, I'll look to make this entry if we get to it. Regardless, I am going, let me put this where an actual support is at the moment. You can see it's kind of a flat support, but we do have a bottom and a bottom. So we can at least make our initial line. We can adjust it. You know, if price starts really getting bullish, maybe it'll end up being something kind of like this through those price actions. We don't know. What we do know is we have a point here and we have a point here. So that's all we can do to connect them right now to establish a trend. But my play, what I'm looking to do is if we hold a higher low, I'm looking to enter and I'm looking to take some profit here. And with that profit, ride the short. Take some profit here, and with that profit, ride the short. Close out my trade here, and I hope it sends to fucking Valhalla here. So if I can long take profit one and use my take profit to earn even more, and then hell, I could even re-enter. You know, if I find support, re-enter on support. Take profit, ride the short, wait to find support, and re-enter on support. Do you see how that's what I mean when I said we need to identify not only our trend, right? We need to identify our trend. Are we in an uptrend? Are we in a downtrend? And what level in the trend are we? Are we at our first higher low, our second higher low, or are we right now at a higher high? And that does it. You don't want to enter on potential resistance, right? You want to enter on potential supports.
Right. So these, I guess it's not always the same, but like you're saying, like first higher low, second higher low. There's not a set number of higher lows before it starts dropping, or is that kind of like the
So
market
things
makers' way of
Things usually move in levels of 3. And the 3 levels are usually you have your bottom, so your first established higher low. And your first level usually breaks out of this last resistance and makes it support. So this would be level 1, right? This would be move 1, come back here to retest. This would be move 2, come back to retest. And this would be move 3. And then usually what you see is a reset. You get the high, lower high, move 1, and retest, right? See how I'm doing that? Now, one of the things to keep in mind is price action off this. You have the first one, and it breaks the zone and somewhat significant, right? And this is where like people are like, oh shit, and they FOMO in. And then it drops back down here, and people are like, oh shit, no, we're losing it. But you still got a higher low. And people paper hand out. And then it comes back up to here, just a little bit past, and people FOMO in again. And when they start to FOMO in again, we drop back down here a little bit, just a little bit. And now we're heading for fucking Valhalla, because so if you didn't want to because you got burnt here, so you don't want to here. Well, now we're going to fucking Valhalla.
And I'm assuming that's like,
and this is where people FOMO again. And if you didn't enter here, it comes down and then it says, guess what? We're going to fucking the moon. No, we're not.
Yeah. And that would be some of the market maker games, right?
Yes,
like they're kind of
doing market
that.
maker games. Market maker games of you either want to be greedy or you're fear of missed out.
Yeah.
So what usually happens is level 1.
You just said what I used to happen to me before.
It happens to us all. But level 1 usually breaks the zone pretty significant.
Yeah.
Move 2 usually is a smaller move. It just kind of in between. And then move 3 is the big move.
Yeah.
To make you FOMO in. So let's go back and look at the chart again. Let me set this to 4 hour again so we can see it. What do we see if this is our W? This would be a significant move out of the zone, right? And then potential reset. And then a little bit shorter move. And then at this time, are we going to have a call up here to send us not to all new highs, but look, we could come up to here, resistance, 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 resistance. We could come right back here. That be that big move to get everybody to FOMO in. Fuck yeah, we're breaking all new highs. And then what do? Level by level, move back down and reset. But we can easily see in a couple different ways how these moves could play out into support and resistance, as long as we're holding these higher lows and uptrends, which we currently are. We've got a higher low, we've got a higher high, especially if this keeps going higher high, but we are again looking at resistance here. We are at neutral, which can sometimes be resistance. Because what can we do here too? We can draw resistance right? The orange broke, but is the longer term, is the green, the slower, the less reactive. Is it going to break, or is it going to, for me, if I was looking to make money in the short term, I wouldn't even say I would go short, because you're so close to a short call, and this is just so bullish, it could easily wick up into here. The
Yeah, it's
best
like
thing,
a 50-50.
yeah, the best thing in my mind right now is to sit on your hands till we find out that this is a resistance. We've wicked away and we are getting away from it. Okay, maybe then you want to open up a short and look to close it on support. But that is a very short temporary move where, if you're buying on support, you're looking to take advantage of a move from here to potentially here. Support, from resistance making a short. But if you are buying either in this 15-minute zone, or let's just say you're buying here at near take profit, that's still a higher low, and you're buying in the potential of resistance here or your next resistance up in here, versus looking at your next resistance right here. See how short your move is to your potential, upside moves to resistance. You got a lot more. So yeah, watch the RSI. What indicators do we get? Does this come back down and find support also? Does this short term come back down and cool off and stay, does it stay in the bullish zone but not overheated? These are all our indicators that give us an idea of how we can take advantage of price action. So when
Sorry,
we left
so
off last week, go ahead.
the green line on the RSI shows the slower price action.
Correct. It's just, you can see it's just kind of smoothed out. It's kind of going through the middle of it as an average, not just, rocketing and reacting so immediate. It's just kind of smooths it out to show you more of what the general trend is. Because
Gotcha.
otherwise, this looks like the top, or this looks like the top, this looks like the top. But, in general momentum, you're still moving upward. But this was a top. This was a top. But, in your generalization. That's why I'm saying I wouldn't enter right now, seeing that immediate price action is hot. Immediate price action is by resistance. Immediate price action, even the smooth is on resistance. Is that neutral, which can be resistance? We saw it be resistance here. Is it going to be resistance again? And it's not always exact. Things can, break through a little bit, and, it's not always exact, but it is an indicator. It just kind of gives you an idea of what next. And if you have an idea of, well, this is where I'm at, and it means price could do this or that, you can be prepared for this or that. And that's exactly what you want to do, is be prepared for either move. So if you don't have, if you don't have a lot of time, you could even just go say, okay, well, you know what? I'm just gonna set a short and a take profit, and I'm gonna set a long and a take profit. Come back and see which one triggered. See if they're both valid. See if one invalidates, and then maybe cancel that one. But while you're here in the no man land, you can be prepared to take advantage of the short or take advantage of the long. What we look at in our own TA to take advantage of is resistance, 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 long-term resistance close to a short call, resistance, potential resistance, I'm not seeing. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of things that say that this is a potential to play a short call down into here. But the fact we are so close to a Thor short, I'm almost scared to open a short here. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
But now you can see how, yeah, we can use these indicators to make our own calls of where price may go. And literally, for me, looking at these as longs, these are take profit zones, because we're going to break down from that point. I at least want to see if we're going to find support to continue up, or if we just break down at that point. But this is how you can look at Thor for, potential price action movement. And higher lows. And you can see, I stopped it right on entry, support right at take profit, right on entry, right at take profit, right on entry, right at take profit. And it's still always making that higher high, higher low. So you can take advantage of knowing the trend and knowing where you're at. So in my mind, where are we in this trend? We have broke the short term. We are testing the long term. And if we get a higher low and a break, beautiful. If we get a break, the next retest, I'm looking to go in. I'm looking to go long, especially because this has been such a long going downtrend that when we do break it, I think we could see some upside again. But again, we labeled this zone a while ago, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see price come back to it at some point. It's potential that since they skipped,
Don't you think Thor will make that call on the retest?
yes, yes, I think it will.
Okay.
It will probably have enough data to give you a retest call. But what can you look at for the retest call that it is giving, that it is confident in? To take profit of the short. So it's confident if we hit here, we're coming at least down to here as a retest. And then if we find through our indicators that we do get higher low, we are finding support, and we're not topped out, and we can keep going. But hopefully some of you saw this downtrend. We had this downtrend laid out. We said we wanted to see the break, for it to go up, and then ultimately look for a retest. And Thor did call down here. It did have signals in here. Sile posted them. Man, let me.
Is that pump today? Is that a higher high in comparison to when it broke that last smaller downtrend? Yeah, it is.
This is technically a higher high. Yes. This is technically a higher high. And you guys may have heard of, sometimes people call it a Batman or a head and shoulders, inverted head and
Could you
shoulders.
explain that? Just like,
So here's a play of an inverted head and shoulder. So you have a shoulder, the head,
mhm.
And then look at where, come on, this thing's moving so slow because I'm streaming. Look at where our other shoulder is. Almost the same height. Right?
Yeah.
So in a way, that is a form of a W or sign of a bottom.
Okay, I was gonna ask. So head and shoulder like that could indicate switch in trend.
Yeah. So if you see, we've now made the higher low.
Yeah, I
and
see
we're
it.
higher
It
low
makes way
than
more
here
sense.
too. Yeah, we refilled this entire candle. So price wicked up out of here. We came back in. We filled all that. And now we've made the higher low.
Yeah, and because you see, so you said this is
And you
inverted.
see almost how dead even that price action is. Again, you see price here. Look how even that price action is. And even here,
and I can see it too if you flip it the other way. Like if it's
yes,
like peeking out, then it's
yep,
that's just a normal
it
head and
does the
shoulders, and
same
you've
thing
made
as
a
the top.
yeah,
Yep, does
exactly.
the
You've
same
made
thing
the
as
higher or the lower high as well, coming back down. If it's inverted,
and you often see this pattern at a break, right?
yeah.
So because you see the resistance, then you see the lower, you see the break, but you kind of want people to FOMO out, so it goes back down to the retest.
Yeah.
Let me clean this up a little bit. I know when it gets too many lines, it just gets confusing as fuck. So I try to only have so many lines at a time. You know, like I'm gonna erase this since that's out of play now. We just kind of have these bigger trend lines in play. Both these are kind of in. Do we find support or resistance in the wedge here? You know, do we want to see where we break out? Do we break out or break down? Same here in price action. This wedge, do we break out or do we break down? Right now, because Thor's got these confident calls of price zone already, and this motherfucker's got some momentum behind it. Again, I'm just looking for that higher low. I want to get in on a higher low.
Yeah, my gut, just for me, like not taking into account like the short term trading, I just feel like the space as a whole, especially with the grayscale court winnings today and all of that against the SEC, it's just very like optimistic. And I just feel like we didn't hit that actual max pain, which makes me hesitant for like my style of trading. Like, no, I'm not saying don't do these trades. Like that's different. Doing the short.
And what Rumpty means by his style, Rumpty is a investment style trader. By wait weeks to months to take profits. You know, not try to make profit by this evening or tomorrow morning type trade.
Yeah. So
although you fucking did with Omi, believe.
Hell yeah,
look
dude.
at Omi. Let's go look at Omi because
that shit just fucking sent. I told bro, it just sent. Yeah.
Bro.
It's crazy.
Okay. We left off right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the pump.
Right here.
Yeah.
This is where we left off, right in the pump. And I told you that because this topped out right here, we wicked here and we blew through here, that this was the new buy zone, right?
Yep.
Did you buy in here?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
All right. So, and if you bought in there, that was take profit 1 and 2. So that was in the
I still haven't
easy
taken
clean.
a profit either.
Oh, you still haven't?
No.
Oh, dude, you're up 50%.
I know.
Oh, that was 50% at the high.
Now,
what do we have though? What are we looking at? We can take our line here and we can kind of bring it like this. Let me get. So we can look at this. This may be some support here, right? It's close.
Could be a head and
But
shoulders. Though.
we could also see that becoming this same price action, kind of like that.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. At least for it to be like healthy.
Now, what did you say? I'm always wrong by just a couple days. But
yeah, I got to add 2 days.
Well, we got the double top. We got the double top, and I could see the RSI doing this, kind of winding back down, resetting.
I think it needs to. Like, it needs to.
And finding support here. Finding support, not back in the zone again where it was, but resisting that zone, and then making the next leg up. But fuck, dude, congrats, man.
I mean, I was following along with what they were actually doing and the reasons of why it pumped like that.
From the middle of the range to the top was a 70% gain, dude.
Yeah, it was massive, man. And there, I had other friends who were getting in before. Like, you see, like we came in and looked at that last pump and drew those lines. My friends got in before that little green candle pump that took it to the resistance of that big green box that you drew right there.
So down here.
Got in down
So
there.
you bought on support all the way down.
I've been DCAing like throughout. Yeah.
And what did we see? How did you know that was a good idea? Look at this long, massive downtrend.
Yeah.
And we broke downtrend. We broke and we retested with a higher low. Perfect time to enter. Anywhere in here. Perfect time to enter. And
I didn't even know I know that even better now.
Here.
Yeah.
So
I think we're definitely coming back down a little bit to somewhat of reality. Like it is.
Well, I mean, we could be looking at, look, here's move 1. There's 2.
Okay, so it could go again, but.
And then we can make the big move here.
Yeah, so that's my thought. My thought is just looking at this. Yeah.
Look how perfect, too. Resistance. Look how perfectly it became support.
Yeah.
Support. Or do we see literally exactly what we just talked about 5 minutes ago? Do we see the shoulder?
The head and shoulder, exactly. That's my plan right now for the DCA that I did is if it head and shoulders, then I'll sell then. If it pumps to that resistance or that line up above, then I'll sell some as well.
All right. That is fundamental trading without fucking emotion, bro. Like if you sell right here, or you sell right here, that is perfect trading because this is the first time you've got an indicator. You've got what? A lower low. You're still making higher highs. This is your first lower low. So if you make a lower high,
then I'm selling it,
because what are you expecting?
I'm going to be putting it back in after it drops.
But you can expect lower lows,
100%,
right? So, dude, that is beautiful.
I mean, dude, that's an testament to you, man. Like I'm just learning this shit here and taking that and mixing it in my strategy. Like that's an testament to you for real.
I unfortunately get a little too fucking emotional and look at too many things and everything else, but I still have a bag of Omi I bought ever since we went in on fundamentals and buying early. So that's one I actually don't even have any clue what it's worth.
You just strap that shit to your chest, bro, and we're going to Valhalla.
But I can't believe I could have just paid 70%.
I know, dude. But let's start watching that token because they're doing crazy shit. Seriously,
I need to. I believe we had a call on DOT. We did. Okay, we had left off with this DOT. We said we got entry, right? We got entry here. But we met resistance, and we said we could find a second entry, which this was on stream. We were in entry zone right here on stream. And we said this is a chance to re-enter the DOT long call. We are this is really messing me up when it doesn't. like drop the line where I click. But what are we seeing? Same thing, the head and shoulder pattern, right? We've got the shoulder, we've got the head, we've got a break, and we've got the shoulder. Or just look at it as the W. We've established a higher low, we established higher high, higher low, higher high, hopefully higher low, and then to take profit, right? If you took this call, we'll just say from the top of the zone, you're up currently 7%, could have been 10, and potentially looking at 12%. Congratulations if you took this call. This was a call we talked about on stream. We literally laid this out and showed we are getting a second entry, and we said we just wanted to see it break this line, and you see as soon as we broke it, we made our higher low and continued on. I'm going to say something, and it's going to kind of sound dickheadish, but this is one of the things that is kind of true, and one of the things that bites me in the ass. And I you just got to remember, making money is easy when you follow the rules. I'll say that again. Making money is easy when you follow the rules. When you follow the rules,
that's what you mean.
Exactly. When you follow the rules of, are you making higher highs and higher lows? Are you still in a valid Thor call? Just because it called here and left and came back to, so fucking what? Follow the rules.
Yeah, or
Are we making higher highs? Are we making higher lows? Follow the rules. Following the rules, and just like you said, Rumpy, how are you going to not get burned on that OMI call? If you don't make a higher high, you know you're destined for lower lows. Get the fuck out. Follow the rules. You got your indicators. Now follow the rule.
Yeah, and that's just to optimize so I can get more for my fucking money as it drops.
And that's what I mean. Trading can be easy when you follow the rules. And Thor, shit, just follow Thor. Let that be your rule. If you're not confident in your trading, and if you're not confident in your trading, you're not confident in your TA yet, let this be your rule. Let it be, well, you're not going to enter the short until you hit it. And when it hits take profit, you're going to take it. Let that be your rule. Use the risk management tool that's right here.
Yeah.
To establish what's your risk. Calculate out your risk and follow the fucking rule. It'll tell you where to get out, when to get in. Making money can be easy when you follow the rules. Following the rules and being disciplined is the hard part of being a human.
Yeah. No, and that's why just being a trader. That's why the market makers can get you, because that's literally what you just said.
Human emotion repeats itself over and over and over. We have the same FOMO and the same greed over and over and over. Human emotions repeat themselves. They're easy to play and prey upon. Market makers know this. That's exactly why they have the strategy I showed you of making a slightly higher low, then all of a sudden it's taken off. Then, oh no, it's dropping back down. Then it's not really moving. Then it takes another huge move, and you're like, oh fuck, this thing's going. Only for it to do a double top and reset on you. Right? Yep. It's literally, and if you've never looked it up, I should post this in the Tuesday Trader review also. Is the if you guys have never seen the psychological chart, the psychology chart of trading, and where it shows like what you're feeling at that point in the market, like, oh yeah, things are bullish, or oh,
You're talking about that
this is
little
going
like
shit.
gas light looking thing that's like bullish or bullish
Give me
or bearish or not, like fear. It's fear or whatever.
give me 1 second.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say it's because they can afford, they as in the market makers can afford to lose however much fucking money, knowing that they're gonna make it back when they move it up versus the other, like, smaller amounts.
Right, they don't.
You can't afford to lose it,
Market makers don't mind losing money,
and
knowing that
that's
they're
where the
going to
FOMO
come back to
comes.
collect.
That's both ways for
Knowing
the
they're
people
going
with
to
less.
come back to collect their money, they don't give
Yeah,
a fuck if
exactly.
they're losing.
That's where
Man,
I've learned
give
from
me a
you.
big
Like,
person.
honestly, like what you've taught me is I used the visual of a shark being the market maker, and I would be like the food that got munched. Now with your like trading style and the way that you've like taught what you know, I've learned to be that little fish that swims under its fin and catches one of the chunks that falls out that I used to get eaten, and now I get that chunk.
There you
And
go, bro.
that's so much better being in there than getting munched on.
No doubt. Literally, it's you just got to kind of learn
You learn from
where
getting
they're
munched.
at.
Let's just say
What
that.
level are you in? All right. Okay, let me do this. Maybe I can screenshot this to make it bigger. I can't find a big version. Fucking pissing me off. Shit, that didn't work yet. All right, well, you're just gonna have to deal with what I can give you right now. I'll get a better one to post in the Tuesday trade. Okay, let me know when you guys can see this.
I can see it.
So this is the psychology of a market cycle. This is what we just kind of talked about, right? And you start down here in kind of disbelief, right? And then you get a little hope of recovery. You get that first pump, and then it resets a little bit. Then, holy shit! Now we're moving into the second pump, and you're thinking this could be good. Then it'll reset a little bit, and then it's heading for Valhalla. So you better get in. If you're not invested, this thing's fucking ripping. You better be ready, right? Now, here we are at the top. Fucking shit's all good. You get a retest. So what? Shit's all fucking good. You're coming back up and you're like, whatever. It just needed to retest. Just a little bump in the road, right? Then it starts to drop. Your complacency becomes anxiety. Should you be adding more? Should you be, is it too late to take profit? You should have taken profit here. So it's going to come back up. You're denying that you're losing money.
Right?
They will
right?
come back. My investments are great companies. They will come back. You're in that denial phase. Just like I said, your anxiety becomes denial. Then all of a sudden, panic. Shit. This is where I fucking started. It's only going to get lower. It's only going to get worse. Then you start to give up. And when you start to give up and you start to get angry and you start to get depressed about the market, that's when you start selling out. And right as you start selling out is when all of a sudden you get a little teeny pump that gives you, it's not coming back. Nah, it's not coming back. Oh shit, maybe it is coming back. Holy fuck, we're moving. I better buy in. I'm buying in. We're going up. Oh shit. Now, do you see how the market takes advantage of you over and over and over? They get you to realize in this zone when you're moving, hey, things are moving and you are missing out. You are missing out on the fucking party right now. Everyone on fucking TikTok's making money. Why the fuck aren't you, bro? Okay, I guess I better get in. Well, everybody I said it was going to keep going up. I better keep holding, but this is looking bad. And then when you're like, you know what, fuck this shit. Like this is
FTX
stupid.
collapse.
I'm just going to cut my losses here and do something else. And right then, when you start to do that, and the market books become flat, and they know they've got the people that are going to sell in their depression and anger, have sold in their depression and anger, they make you do it all again.
So I'm just interested from your perspective, Mode. Where do you think we are right now?
Honestly, I think we are somewhere like right in here. I think we are in that capitulation stage. I think people are angry and depressed, but I don't know that. Well, I guess we're more here, right? Because I don't think we're going back to $8. But I think we're coming down from here. I don't think we're clear of even, I think we're coming back down 17, 15. So,
so
I guess I would say I would think we're here, which is where is that? Kind of, you're not in the bull market by any means, but the bear market's winding down, right? So I would think this is where we are in this, and this range could last a really, really long time. You notice how big the pump and the drop is and how much of the chart that takes up? That only takes from here to here on the chart. A quarter of the chart, width-wise, for it to pump and drop. The other 3/4 of the chart is what? Flat. Right? From here all the way over, semi-flat. From here all the way here, semi-flat. So it's in this flat, boring area that they're trying to get you to, buy, but sell. But, like this whole chart you see right here also takes place in this pump right here.
Yeah.
This whole chart.
I think you hit the nail on the head with that red being the $8 soul. I think that red is the $8
soul, and I think this is $15 soul, and I think we're probably going to dip back into these ranges again. And then I think slowly over time, this could continue. I'm not saying, well, we're about to go up now.
Yeah, of course.
I'm saying I just think we're in this flat line zone of we've got near the bottom or just past the bottom, and
just seeing this makes me think that we will, like, just talking like Bitcoin, we will see some pump to like 40 to 50K, and then have the mega like last max pain drop where you may see like 20K or 15 to 20K and really squeeze out everyone that isn't.
And we gotta we've all heard people say this. They gotta squeeze out the longs or squeeze out the shorts, right? So what can that mean? Like, let's say Bitcoin wants to go up in price, right? Everyone thinks Bitcoin's going up in price. There's probably a lot of people that have bought Bitcoin and more so have bought perpetual contracts or future contracts that have leverage.
For sure.
So if the market maker makes price go up, if market maker makes price go up, they're going to be paying out to a lot of people if there's a lot of leverage.
Yes.
So a lot of times what they'll do is they'll spike the high to make people think they're going high and to FOMO in or add more. Then they'll spike low to go ahead and liquidate all those people that were long. And now anyone 100%. That's going short, because we reversed so quickly, you decide, oh shit, I was going long and I got liquidated. I better let me open up a leverage going short. Now the market maker turns around and they leave the zone and completely leave you behind of what was resistance. before. And now you're in new territory to make these new steps and new sets.
Yeah, that makes me, if you show the like soul chart
Let me pull it up.
that you had, it makes me think, because you were saying basically like right now it's like ultimate like 50-50 essentially, that it could go either way, right? But with what we just kind of said there, that makes me think about how many people right now are looking at kind of what we've looked at here and thinking it's an obvious short. Now think about how those people could get liquidated and then move it up and then make that support.
You know,
Like,
honestly, I'm not sure. I would think more retail would probably think now it's time to buy.
Do you think they're going to long?
Now it's time to
but
buy.
long, not buy. Yes, they'll buy, but do you think retail will put in longs? I don't think so, right? I think they would definitely buy because they always buy the fucking FOMO.
Well, that's putting in a long, essentially is buying.
I guess, but it's not like the leverage, like the whole market moved up today because of a lot of news, but also there were definitely shorts that got liquidated.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it spiked, right? And that just makes me think that those people, why would they put in a long now, right? Like they would probably put in a short. I'm just thinking like maybe, right? And that makes me think they could get squeezed one more time and then come down. That's like what you were saying. It's like you because wait, is it Thor has the long call or the short call? It has the long call, right?
For Solana?
Yeah.
We have a 15-minute long call that is right down here. And again, it is a higher low. So if it hits this call, it is still a higher low.
Yes.
And we've got the 15-minute short call and 2 4-hour.
Okay, so it did call that 15-minute short.
Oh yeah, this is a 15-minute call right here.
Yeah.
So, but it's not active. You see, we haven't.
Yeah.
It hasn't become active yet.
Okay.
So that's why I was saying I'm hesitant to open a short right now.
Yeah. I am too.
Knowing that there's a short right here.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have Thor, I would probably be looking at.
That's what I'm saying. You might be looking at a short, right?
We're looking at a top.
Exactly.
We got resistance. I would probably be looking at opening a short.
Yep.
Which
That's
means
what I mean.
we could spike
you
the
could
high.
See it.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's what I'm thinking.
Spike the high and liquidate before,
because it could be like we're saying 50-50, right? And I think because it could obviously it could be 50-50, but I think with that logic it kind of moves it like 60-40, where it could move up to that 15-minute short because people who don't have Thor or aren't as traversed in trading will think this is an obvious place to short and just mega pumped.
Right. You're absolutely right. And I mean, it could spike the high before coming low and then spike the lows before shooting high, just like I was talking about.
Yeah.
Liquidate the shorts, come down, people open up shorts. You liquidate the shorts just to then go long.
Yeah. 100%. It's like you got to learn to play like the opposite of what is going on.
You do.
It's hard.
You gotta think about.
It's like literally emotionless. Like it's so hard.
And like you said, what's max pain? What's going to hurt the most people, and what hurts the most people makes them the most money. The market makers.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody else got questions while we're just? I know I've just spit off so much tonight. And I didn't even get to the EMAs yet, which I said I was going to do them. We're almost 2 hours in already. I'll show the EMA that I use. Actually, it's going to be kind of difficult. Just give me a second here. The fuck? I don't know how to get rid of whatever. All right, so these are EMAs. I'm gonna just make them super fucking bright so they stand out a little more amongst all the other lines. We'll go super green and we'll go I know that no. That doesn't look good. We'll go super pink. Okay. So an EMA is an estimated moving average. So it's kind of like the RSI, except the RSI isn't bound to, or the RSI is bound between 0 and 100. It's just a FOMO meter, not a price meter. The EMAs are basically, like for instance, this would be, I think, 50-day and 200. So every 50 days, it takes the average, right? And this is where it is. And then the next line would be every, say, 200 days. And it depends what chart you're on. It changes if you go to like a 15-minute chart. Now it's a 20-minute and a 50-minute instead of, 20 and 200. But anyway, we'll get deeper into it, especially because it's already been 2 hours. But just so you can see what they are, kind of look into them a little more, let me go to a chart that's not so fucked up. Okay. So what you want to see is and I'll go to a shorter time frame so we can see even more crosses and everything. What you want to see really is the green line above the pink. So when you see here, we have the green line cross above the pink, right? That's also an indicator. Why did that happen? Because we've got a higher low. Now we do have a lower high, but we still have a higher low. Then we have our higher high, our higher low, our higher high, our higher low, our higher high, right? So we can actually sometimes, this is why I don't always use the EMAs, is because a lot of times they're lagging. They lag in price action, but they can still be a good indication. Perfect example being this dip right here. When price dipped here, does that mean we're going into a downtrend? Well, one, we could put a short-term line there and then see, okay, that's our downtrend. When is price going to break it or whatever? But you can see the EMAs still stayed bullish. They still stayed the green above red, right? Now, when the red starts getting above the green, that can be an indication of going down. And we see that by what? What did we get? We've got the higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low, right? So we can see now we've got the cross, and now it's finding resistance. Instead of it either breaking back through or finding support on it, breaking through and finding support, it broke through and it found resistance, right? So that's an indicator here that price action could be going short. Now this line, could be moved like that, and then we could have even drawn a steeper one connecting. Shit. Hate when it does this, doesn't put it where I want it to be because of the lag. And it something like that. So we would have known we got a break. Now we did get the higher high actually, but it would let us know, okay, maybe we can move it here, but we got the break, and we, even though not a full retest, we did get the higher lows. So this is just another indicator. So what are we seeing now for, this dot chart with it? Resistance, 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 resistance. Now it came down. Now we're forming higher lows in our box. And look at that. Thor calls. Bam. So if you were trading, right here would be your signal to buy. So you probably would have bought somewhere. By the time that candle printed and made that happen, you'd probably be buying somewhere. Fuck. Pissed me off. Right about here. That would be a good indicator to buy for EMAs because you've got the bullish cross. But using RTA, we can look and find things earlier. One, we can find we've got the higher low and we've got the break of trend. But Thor says, fuck that. I don't need your EMA. I don't need your higher low. It called this all the way back here. Tap, tap, moving away. So you see how different indicators can give you different things. Yes, you can buy just when these cross. And if this holds and finds support, the green staying on top of the red, sure. You can hold it all the way until you get, the negative cross. But you're already halfway up the profit zone of Thor's call here. But these are all valuable tools, all things to learn how to use. You can even, I bet you, let me see if there's a EMA cross. There we go. EMA cross 5020, 200, I'm sorry, 5020, 5200. To add it. Okay, so I'm going to turn that one off. I added it twice, so I'm going to get rid of one. And I'm just going to change the colors of this real quick so we can see it better like I just had it. So we want the green line. We want the pink line. Make this a little bigger. And we got a cross. I'll make that bright red. This is a little too big. Okay, so this is something you can probably get as a free indicator if you would like. I think you can have 3 indicators on your trading view. There we go. Look at that. Right there at the cross. You see it made a mark. Made a mark telling you we've got a cross. That means the price action from the moving average, the average cost. So just like this, the lines get smoother. You use the smoother line as indication. The red line is more of the smooth line. The green line is more of the immediate price. But you can see we know through RTA we got a higher low. That's a good sign. We would have also had a line drawn, right here, just looking at the shorter time frame, right? So we would have known we got the higher low. Now we got a break and a retest with a higher low. So this would have been where I would look to buy, right? Now it's telling you to buy here. So at that point, so if I'm buying somewhere here, if you look at where that cross is, you can't buy right here on the cross of the line. You got to buy where price is at the cross of the line, which is actually up here, right? It's a big difference. I mean, especially if you're talking about leverage or short time frame trading, you're talking about a 7% difference right there from when you could have known we're breaking, we're making the retest, holding the higher low, and when this gave you the cross, 7% difference. Now, having this and then seeing, look where price retested. Okay, we got the break. Price came down. It's retesting. Man, it's above and looking bullish. We're looking bullish here. We are getting close to topping out, but we're still moving. That could be an indicator to look to enter on the next high or next low. Chaz, you mind muting, bro? Thank you. So these are all good indicators. Like, if this helps you see when price action is shifting, perfect. Because here's the truth. You don't need to enter right here to make money. You don't need to enter here to make money. You could enter here. You could enter here. And ride this up to how high? What's your indicator? What's your strategy? But stick with it. Don't be like, well, this trade it broke the line, so I'm buying. Well, this trade it made it so I'm buying. Like, you want to stick with a strategy. And that's why having Thor is also a good strategy. You can stick with the strategy of buy when it says buy, take profit when it says take profit, sell when it says sell. You know what I mean? But let's look at it on the Thor chart. So this is where we got our cross. But at that point, we had already had a higher low, a higher high, and a higher low, and a higher high. So you wouldn't even bought until in between two higher lows and instead of waiting to buy on this higher low. But see how it also can work as a support? Worked as support for that entry, worked as support, worked as support, worked as support until all of a sudden it broke down through. Now it's working kind of as a resistance until ultimately there we got the cross and we've been in the downtrend. So what can we see with this? We still haven't seen the 20 come up and test the 500 to break to go bullish yet either. But this is a lagging indicator, as we know. We see we didn't get the cross till all the way back here. Well, we've already got lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, all before it even told us that we could be switching to downtrend. So again, if this helps you see and know that you're in the uptrend and still holding, perfect. If you find, man, that just kind of clutters my screen, I like to just have the line, follow price action of the line, and do what Thor tells me. That's a great way to do it too. I'm just trying to teach you guys what I know, and everyone does things different. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to adjust colors. You wouldn't be able to adjust the chart. If there was just one fucking best way to do it, then everyone would make money trading, I guess, because it'd all be simple and everyone would have figured it out. But if you come up with a set of rules and you follow those rules and stay disciplined, trading and making money can be easy.
You the man mode.
Appreciate you, dude. Anybody else got any questions? We're at 2 hours now. Fuck yeah. Another successful Trader Tuesday, man. I
This was
always
a very informative one.
I'm glad. I'm trying not to get too ahead. It's very easy to feel like you have a grasp and then all of a sudden be like, man, this is too much shit and I feel lost. It's very easy to go from feeling like you're getting somewhere to then just feeling like you're underwater. So I'm trying to do this in a slow, methodical method and reviewing it and kind of even beating it in over and over to where I'm not getting too far ahead. I'm not making things more difficult than they need to be. It's really easy to just say, oh, buy here, sell here. That's what Thor says. But to understand why Thor is making those predictions and where you could potentially look at, waiting. Look, and we're getting a red candle to form now, so we may be seeing the top. But knowing, hey, we could come back down here to see and still be holding the higher low, and then be bullish to either take profit and find resistance and drop lower, or do we break the line and then become bullish? Because if we get to this 15-minute line and we also break right through here, I'm probably not taking my profit right here. If we just break right through this, I'm going to wait until I see a little bit of resistance and then maybe come down. And I bet you the retest is probably going to happen somewhere around that take profit zone. Right? Or it may just pump straight up into the 50. Get off there. May pump straight up into the 15. You know what I mean? And then come down to take profit. But
So, Mo,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say like a quick like takeaway from indicators, being of course the EMA, the RSI, and when you're seeing on the charts anyway, newer highs, higher lows being made after a break in particular.
Yes. Yeah. See, what I want to do, and that's kind of why I put them in the order I did. What I ultimately want to see is where's my trend and my trend line. That's my ultimate. Where are my trend lines at? Right. Then I kind of want to see where in the move and in the trend am I. Okay. Now I want to see where in the RSI am I. Then, okay, just for a little extra confirmation, where am I with the moving average? That's kind of my checklist. Like my first thing is I want to know the basic overall trend. And so in my mind, we're in a downtrend because we haven't broke this, right? We haven't broke this line. So we're in a downtrend, right? But we're not in the start of it. by any means. We've been in a downtrend for a while. And this could be the start of an uptrend. So short term, we're in an uptrend right now. Long term, we're still in the downtrend. So that's why until you break out of this wedge, things are kind of noise. But when things do break out of this wedge, you're either going to see it either breaks and then retests. And if it does, we're probably going to be below neutral, right? Or we're going to break and retest and be above neutral if we're breaking up and out. We're probably going to see this green line reject off of the pink and never cross it if we're going to continue down. We may see it come up and break it, and get that next cross showing bullish if we're going up. So, yeah, your indicator is just kind of let you know, is the trend analysis you've established. The trend analysis I've established is long-term downtrend, shorter-term uptrend has just started. So because right here, shorter uptrend just started, right? But long-term, it found resistance. So we're in the same place. We're in the same place as we were right fucking here, in my opinion, right? And this could break up and go to new highs, or this could break down to new lows. So that's why I wouldn't want to enter here, because I'm looking at resistance on the EMA. I'm looking at resistance on the trend. I'm looking at resistance RSI. I'm looking at resistance on the neutral line of the lower term. So kind of just like Thor is saying, we're kind of right in the middle. We're not in a long or a short. So we're just kind of waiting until we get that call, or in my mind, ultimately waiting till let's get fancy. Where's triangle? Bam. We're just in noise until we break this triangle. Once we break this triangle, we'll kind of know if we're going down lower and coming back into this zone of 16, 17, or if we're breaking and looking to go test the zones of 26 or possibly higher. But we're not going to know until we break out of this wedge. Hey, Nuchez, you're hot micing again. That is a dope ass frog, by the way.
He's got
Happy
that ghost
man,
skin.
what's up, dude? Is that Happy from Game Hub?
Yo, man. Yeah, it is. How you going, man?
Good, dude. Long time. It's been a long time since
Yeah,
we
it's been a
talked.
while,
Glad to
bro.
see you here, bro.
Good to be here, man. Thought I'd pop in and saw it happening. I never had the time to catch these I never know about them, and then saw it in today. Thought I'd pop in.
Perfect. Well, what I'm going to do is I will screenshot all these charts exactly as we leave them, and I put them inside of Trader Tuesday Review, the Discord channel. So you'll even be able to look back and see when we made this call and then it hit, when we made this call and it hit, when these calls were made. So it's cool to see week to week, even month to month at this point, what calls were made, what calls hit, and when our technical analysis came into play and worked for us, and what indicators we had at the time. Just like I said, the last stream we left off right as we were looking at this as resistance. And we broke and we found the higher low, and then off to the races we went. So yeah, glad to have you, dude. And Crypto, good to see you too, bro. I always recognize that frog with that fucking puffer jacket. Low key, one of my kind of favorite traits. I think that shit's dope. Anybody else got questions before we wrap shit up? And again, I'll just give a little rundown of where I think we're at with things before we close out, and then in the morning I'll post the charts, print them up of where we left off, and either we'll look good or I'll look like an ass. We'll see.
Just appreciate you, man. You've done a great job, like, teaching the 1+1. So then, because I know you're in like long fucking division yourself, so I know that can be hard to like know how to kind of describe things at a very basic level. So appreciate you for doing that. Makes it a lot easier for people to get to their own long division themselves.
Good, because that's the one thing I don't want. I don't want to lose you guys where I'm getting too technical, and now it seems like it's getting harder instead of getting easier. It's a fine line. So if I am getting to the point where it's like, man, this is getting a little too confusing, or can we just step back some? Like, I have no problem doing that. I don't want to get too technical. I don't want to get too far. Look at that. Here's something we grew up on: AVAX, potential price action. Because I said I thought price action was going to bounce around in this zone and fill this wick. We did come back into this wick, and look, we found support, we found resistance, we found support, and we're finding resistance all within this wick, or in this box that I posted here. So congrats if you took any of these. We did have the long here. You can see that played out. Congrats if anybody took that play on AVAX there, because there's been a couple of them in the box and in the zone. And there was Thor calls. This Thor call was a winner. And it looks like we got two Thor short calls in there. Yep. So we had a long that played out, a short that played out, a short that played out. And I didn't update it, but this was the box that I drew that I thought price was going to react between. And I did that simply because it was a wick, meaning price came in the zone and jumped out of it so fast the candle never even closed in it. Meaning market makers weren't ready for price to stay here yet. So, meaning they probably bought paper hands. Then they sold it back to people when they got emotional. Like we said, let's go ahead and draw out our emotional scale again. Higher lows. First move. Second move, not as big. You fuckers missed out. We're going to Valhalla. You better buy in now. You missed out. Only for us to reset, right? And come back down. And this is, so that's what market makers did. They got people to paper hand. They got enough people to paper hand and sell out. They got enough people to buy back in to now send it back. Like Rumty said, it was probably the market maker selling here and losing money here. Market makers probably lost money here to get everyone else to sell here so they could buy it, so they could sell it back to you here. And now they're buying it back from you here again. Right? Like they don't mind losing money to make money. Like it's the way all markets go. Whales can push price, they can lose money to make more later. But good to anybody that took that AVAX trade down in here. We saw a lot of price action in there. Omi, again, fucking A, bro. Very happy for you. Buying in that zone. We're going to leave this here just to see what happens. Again, I think this is a potential buyback zone here in this box if we lose support here. So let's see if we do make the higher high and find resistance here, or if this is the other shoulder making a lower high and then continue to lower lows.
I'm thinking I'll probably sell like half of my DCA that I did at that potential head and shoulder spot, whether it confirms or not. Then it leaves me like the opportunity to, if it goes higher, then sell the rest.
I mean, that's probably 60% because I think it was. I guess we didn't write anything on here. Yeah, you're probably around 60%. I believe it was between 50 and 70% profit. So yeah. Fucking good on you, bro.
Good on you, bro.
Was that there? Oh, because that's where the cross was. I guess that was cross on the 1 hour chart. Yeah. So you can see how it changes. We have a cross on the 1 hour chart, but if we go to the 4 hour, it hasn't crossed yet. Again, it's all in when, in the 1 hour, this is a change in momentum and an uptrend. In the 4 hour, we haven't quite got there yet. Give me 1 second. My cat's about to rip my fucking screen out. Oh, bitch. All right.
Mode,
one final. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, appreciate you as always. Really dig what you're doing for the people, the frog community. I'm gonna have to dip now, but I always look forward to every Tuesday tuning in because this is stuff that, of course, even like Rumpty said, you pay for, and I couldn't think of any better guide than having you mode. So much thanks.
I greatly appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man. I'll be back next week tuning in, and peace out, Frogs fam, and I'll catch you guys later.
Take it easy, young.
Appreciate seeing you each week, and I appreciate your engagement. And these write-ups will be posted in the morning, dude. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, just a final look at Sol before we close down. You see we are starting to print a 4 hour. Let's go break it down a little closer to the 1 hour. Yeah, that could be we could be coming back to revisit and refill some of this zone we just blew through so fast. This does look like even shorter term, you can see we're starting to get the top and we're already printing some short candles. So we've maxed out here. We're smoothing out to almost max out on the smooth line too. So we may see the short here. We could potentially see something like a flag like this and break up to the 15 before our short. But again, what's your time frame? What are you looking for? We're kind of in between two Thor calls right now, especially if you're looking at 4 hour candles. You're not gonna react to just a purple candle on the top there if this is your trading time frame. So yeah, let's see what we get. Again, if we drop down, let's look to find support. Hopefully on the EMA or the RSI as well. Find support on our long-term trend. Anywhere on this support is a higher low, which is good, and hopefully break this. So we got Thor shorts, we got Thor longs. Thor Fox, Frogs Fox, trade well, trade smart. I appreciate you all. I'll have the write-ups posted in the morning.
Enjoy that weed, man.
It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. But anybody else, but before I close it up for real, just shut it down. Anybody else got any questions? Going once, going twice. All right.
Peace out.
We'll see you for Frogs Fuck Friday. And there's definitions in the Trader Tuesday to review also.
All right.
Thanks, bro.
Get ready for Thordinals.
I'm so fucking ready.
Tell
My
your
body's
friends.
ready.
Yeah, tell your friends what you're experiencing in here, what you guys are getting. If your friends aren't in, maybe they don't care about Solana. Everyone likes Bitcoin. Everyone wants more Bitcoin. And we get new badass art on the fucking 5th. So
I'm
let's
fucking
go.
ready.
Right? All right. Peace, y'all. Appreciate you.
Later.
Trust